Are you trying to start a business, but you're trying to figure out exactly what business to really start? My name is Steven with Business Growth Engine. We help veterans all across the country automate, scale, and market their very own businesses. We help coach them on building their businesses as well. But today we want to talk about, because it's a question that we get quite a bit, can I start a business with $20,000? You absolutely can. That's kind of the bottom line of it. But I wanted to break down today kind of what type of businesses you can start, what to look for, kind of their profit margins, things like that. So let's go ahead and dive into this. It's a very great question. Can I start a business with $20,000? Yes, you can. The best types of businesses to start with this are online businesses. What I mean by online businesses, you're looking at agencies, drop shipping, consulting, all of that stuff. Because if you start an online business, a lot of the times you don't have to buy the product. You don't have to buy a product up front. You could be an affiliate marketer. You could do all kinds of cool stuff with that. The cool thing is that you could take that $20,000 if you have it set aside and you can dump it into marketing. So we're going to do a quick study here. Now, if you do a storefront where you're selling services, you're opening things up, selling it to the public, trying to get the foot traffic, we're going to do an on-site one. We're going to do a comparison, a side-by-side comparison here. Now, if you think about it, if you have $20,000, and the reason I say this is because I actually started a business with $20,000 one time. At the very end of it, it actually ended up failing horribly, but that was not because of the startup process. It was just the simple fact that I lacked the knowledge that I have now. That's why we're spreading it around, helping you guys scale in your business as well. So, let's say you only have $20,000. Which one should you choose? We get that asked a lot. Which one should I choose? How should I go about doing it? Well, it comes down to what you want to do, right? How do you want to spend your time? What type of freedom do you want? Do you want more bills? Do you want more marketing? Do you understand marketing? Do you understand sales? Things like that. Now, if you're looking at doing an on-site one, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do it from scratch. So if you do a scratch one, that just means that it has no brand recognition at all currently. You have to build the brand. You have to market the services and everything all from scratch. Now, that's a great way to go about doing it. You can make a lot of money doing it that way. But the thing to keep in mind is that you're going to have to take that $20,000 and you're going to have to really stretch it because you're going to have to pay for rent. You're going to have to pay for overhead. And you're going to have to pay for supplies and marketing. And I'm sure there's other ones that I've kind of glossed over, but there's a lot more that you have to purchase on site. Now, rent is going to be a big one. It's going to be a killer one for a lot of people. We're not going to dive into triple net or anything like that on how to identify leases in this video. We're just going to kind of look at business-wise, like which one should I start? How should I go about doing it? Now, the benefit, we're going to start with the on-site ones here, and then we'll dive into the online, kind of how it could be better for you overall. This is why we recommend online ones as well. Now, if you're doing it from scratch, you have to take all that $20,000 and you have to split it minimum 4 ways. Now, if you think about it 4 ways, you only have $5,000 on each one, and then you have to make up that money the following month to break even. And that's going to become a problem. That's going to also become the issue, especially with rent, because you're signing contracts. Overhead, you may have contracts as well, so it becomes a nightmare. Because you don't just have rent, you have electric, you have gas, you have internet, all of that stuff that could come from the on-site side. Now, the other option that a lot of people go through is they look at franchises. Now, franchises are a little bit different because most of the time you're going to want to take out a loan for that. So if you haven't seen our loan video yet, go ahead and watch that one as well. But the franchise one is pretty cool because you can take, if you have that $20,000, you can actually invest that into a franchise, which means that you have a proven brand already that everyone knows works. You have proven menu items. So think of like restaurants, things like that. So you have proven items that sell to the public. You have proven prices. And you have marketing that comes from the headquarters of that franchise as well. So there's tons of different benefits that you have. Now, you're probably most likely going to have to get a loan for that. but that can be resolved, going through that process if that's the right way to do it. Now, you also have rent, overhead, and all of that, but you have kind of the safety net of the franchise. They help you with marketing. They help you with all of this. Now, they do take a cut. We've seen it anywhere from 5% to 12% cut of your monthly sales. So keep that in mind as you're looking at that. That could be a way that it goes, but you want to keep in mind that you're not going to net all of that because they're going to take some of that money back. Because they're taking some of that money and putting it into your fees, putting it into marketing, helping train you and your team members along with your supplies and all of that. But those are kind of the two ways to do it in person. You have your scratch ones and you have your franchises. Now you want to take a look at both of those, figure out which one works best for you. But I want to dive into the online one for this video mainly because I think that's how a lot of people want to go these days. I think online is going to be the best way possible. I'm going to show you, some tips and tricks that you can do to make your online business really successful. Now, with online, you don't really have any overhead. You mainly only have your marketing. Let's say you're doing a drop shipping business. You may have your website. And your website fees can be anywhere from a few $100s to a few $1,000 one-time fee or monthly fees, depending on who you go with. Let's say it's $1,000 to get your website built, which is pretty cheap. So don't, in the comments I'm going to hear, $1,000 is a lot of money, all of that. I get it. Sometimes it is a lot of money, but sometimes it's not. On average, that's actually pretty cheap for a custom-built website. Now, let's say you spend $1,000 on your website for just the sake of it. You have 19 grand left. Now, what I always tell people is if you spend $19,000 in 1 month on marketing, you're going to get an ROI. You're going to, because you're playing the numbers game, you're getting the money coming in, you're going to find what works and what doesn't. Now, what I always recommend, though, is don't just take the $19,000, $20,000, and just throw it at the wall and hopefully it works. You want to be strategic about it. You want to understand your why. You want to understand who you're targeting. And you also want to understand where they hang out. Because if you understand where they hang out, you're going to be able to target them more effectively. And that $19,000, instead of just getting a one-for-one ROI, which just means you're breaking even, which is something that you don't want to do, which you may do the first couple months while you're trying to figure it out. Some people say a 1 to 2 ROI is really good. So that means for every dollar you put in, you get $2 back. That's a good one to do. What we always recommend is the first couple of times that you're going to do it, once you figure out your targeting and your marketing, you're probably going to be getting anywhere between a 1 to 5 to a 1 to 10 rate of return. So that's a 1 to 5 and 1 to 10. So if you're putting in $1, you're getting anywhere between $5 to $10 back. That's a huge amount of investment. That's why a lot of people say, hey, online businesses are the way to go. But what they don't fully understand is the taxes that you have to pay and the fees that you're going to have to pay with it too. Because it's all online, so you're going to be using credit card stuff. And credit card processors normally take anywhere between 2.9% to 3.2% of every single swipe. So keep that in mind as you're going through it. That can become a struggle. But don't let this deter you from starting a business because you're going to invest the money into it. Now, the benefit of an online business is you're going to be able to grow really, really quickly. So if you start growing really quickly, you're going to be able to see what is working and what is not and start correcting it as you go. On-site tends to grow a little bit slower unless you buy a franchise, just because there's more overhead, there's more cost, there's more risk involved. But you could also get a higher rate of return because you may not need to spend as much on marketing with your foot traffic, your location, all of that stuff. So keep that in mind. There's a couple of different ways that you can start a business for $20,000. There's tons of different businesses out there. Just do the research on what you think is best. But regardless of what you do, make sure you look at your marketing side, figure out your why, your who, and your where. That's going to help you develop your marketing plan, develop if you want to go online or offline. So if you're going to look at starting a business with $20,000, it's very feasible, but you need to take the precautions to understand what's working and what is not in the business world.